All right, so we have officially entered the new era of real estate 2.0, which basically no longer allows a buyer's agent commission to be part of the listing agreement. And today's video will discuss what the changes mean to a buyer, seller, and how to keep your deal from falling apart with all these changes. And of course, with all these changes, we'll look at the most recent interest rate change and as well as our local real estate market. I'm Harold Powell, a local real estate agent serving Ventura and the surrounding areas. And if you like my videos and want to stay up to date on all things real estate for Ventura, then I suggest hitting the subscribe, like, and bell icon to be notified of future content. So the first big news this month has been the interest rate drop. Now, the recent jobs report and other economic indicators have caused the Fed and the market experts to forecast a likely quarter to maybe even a half-point rate cut for September. And consequently, we've already seen interest rates drop from the 7% range to now to 6 to 6.5%, depending on the type of loan. So what that means for our marketplace is lower interest rates, which means more buyers will have greater purchasing power, or you can also say that it makes purchasing a home more affordable. Thomas Ryan of North American Economist at Capital Economist shared that the decline in rates should set the stage for a modest recovery in transactions for the rest of the year. And we think that this marks a turning point for the housing market, which has been frozen for a while. So it's likely that demand will continue to improve as our rates continue to improve. Additionally, we may also see more home sellers that weren't ready to part with their low rates to move and begin to reconsider it if we see interest rates hit the 5% range. Now, for our local market, we are beginning to see the seasonal decline of new inventory coming on the market. From last month by as much as 20%, while the number of pendings did edge up from June. While overall the inventory is edging downward from last month, but our overall inventory is still up by 37% from a year ago. And what will be interesting to see going forward is just how the August demand of pending sales finish out the month with an improved interest rate change. Now, the other area that is worth taking a look at is the months of inventory based on pending sales. July finished out a 2 months of inventory, which is very similar to June's 2.1 month supply, which is telling us that the market is just holding steady and there is still technically more of a seller's market. All right, so let's break down the National Association of Realtors settlement and really what it means if you are a buyer or a seller. I should mention that what hasn't changed is that the commission to agents, along with most things in life, are still negotiable. However, it is the process of how the commission is going to be negotiated from this day forward. So if you are a buyer looking to see a property, you're going to be required to have a signed agreement before even touring the home. The agreement will address the agent who will represent you and what possible fees you could be responsible for as a buyer. And the seller may also agree to offer compensation to the buyer's agent. But the offer will no longer be shared on the multiple listing service. You won't need a written agreement if you are just speaking with an agent or at an open house or just asking about their services. On the other hand, if you are a seller, the listing agent will discuss with you their fee, their services, and if I'm sitting down with a seller, we'll come to an agreement obviously on fees and services to represent you if we successfully sell the property. Now, what's changed is there will be no set commission given to a buyer's agent in the agreement. That portion will actually be worked out when the offer is presented. It's going to be up to the buyer's agent to write into their offer what the request the seller to pay is for on the commission. This is where and when a buyer's commission can be negotiated. At the same time, it may be wiser for the seller to actually play with the price lever instead of not opting to pay the buyer commission, which can actually kill the deal for a buyer. If a buyer does not have the additional funds to come out of pocket, then the deal is dead. But most buyers actually can finance the cost, which No different than when a buyer asks for closing costs or buyer concessions to be paid, which essentially gets financed into the deal. Now, the deal can still fall apart for financial reasons, but your chances will improve with this strategy. Now, I will say there is one thing that is certain, and that is that there is always going to be change